Here at the very beginning of Broadway, still in the historic financial district, we come to Bowling Green Park. In 1732, on orders of the City Council, this tiny little park became New York City's first public park. It also marks the very beginning of Broadway, one of the longest running streets in the world, which starts right here at the Bowling Green Park, which is right here to the right. If you look over here to the left, you have number 1 Broadway. Broadway runs all the way across Manhattan, cutting diagonally across Manhattan, creating a square, Times Square, Herald Square, Madison Square, at several locations, and then straightening out and making its way all the way up across to the end of Manhattan, crossing Manhattan and continuing all the way up and ending just short of Canada. On the north side of the park is the ever-famous statue of the Charging Bull, the second most photographed statue in New York City after the Statue of Liberty. Yet, the most interesting thing about this tiny 1-acre park is its connection to the Revolutionary War. On July 9th, 1776, prior to marching off to battle, George Washington boldly read the Declaration of Independence to his troops a half a mile north in what today is City Hall Park. Fired up from hearing their commander-in-chief read the Declaration, Washington's troops, as well as the local New Yorkers gathered, marched down here to Bowling Green, where there stood a statue of King George III. They proceeded to tear down the statue, where they then had it brought to a local foundry and melted down into bullets. The perfect irony, of course, being that the British were essentially being shot at and killed by their own king. One of my favorite things about Bowling Green Park, and one of my favorite little facts I love to tell visitors, is this fence. This is the original fence that's been here since the 1700s. And these wider posts here used to have British royal crowns on the top, and patriots, revolutionaries, cut off the crowns and had them melted down into musket balls, just like they did with the statue of King George III. You can feel the tops, you can see how each one is different, right? So you can see this one's different from this one over here, right? Pretty wild. The history that is in downtown Lower Manhattan is just unbelievable, which is the reason why I don't like so much to call this the financial district as I just do Lower Manhattan, you know, because it's much more than just the financial district. We're talking about an area here where George Washington and Thomas Jefferson lived. That's wild, just knowing that some of our founding fathers had been in this exact area and could have touched this very fence. George Washington himself even lived up at 39 Broadway. It was the second presidential mansion to be built. The first one, which is kind of crazy to me, is actually at the foot of the Manhattan side of the Brooklyn Bridge. And there's a rusted old plaque there that commemorates that spot, and nobody knows it's there. The very first presidential mansion. And everybody just is completely unaware.